What do you have to lose? You're living in poverty. Your schools are no good. What the hell do you have to lose?
Hanging with billionaires, I appreciate that.
Hey, I grew up in America in a ruthless neighborhood.
We do regularly, Congressman, clips of people from the south side of Chicago, from the Bronx and New York, or urban communities that are like, nah, man, we're effing with Trump this election. We're done, right? Trump's my boy. Like we do those clips, and we have an abundance of them.
Right.
But something that I wasn't counting on my bingo card for 2024, although I guess at what point do we just break the wheel and say anything's possible, is one of the biggest rappers in the world, one of the most followed rappers in the world, Meek Mill.
Meek Millie came out. Yeah.
Meek Mill quoting my tweet and being like, wait till y'all see who the black people in poverty are voting for. Yeah. Can you break this down for us? Like, I think that what he's doing, and we were counting on, I don't know Meek Mill. He's welcome to come on the show anytime. I invite you and Meek Mill on the show, right? We had a great conversation. I think what he's doing is he's saying that Democrat policies have been terrible for poor people, especially, and that there are communities that feel utterly left behind, and they're going to vote the opposite direction in 2024. Your thoughts?
Man, Meek Millie, ASAP Rocky, Kodak Black, man, the list is, Lil Wayne, what are we talking about? Like, these are black people that are in touch with the black community, and black men are looking around, they're saying, this sucks. The Biden administration sucks. And you know what? 4 years ago, it didn't suck. And then meanwhile, we're sitting there complaining about tweets and MAGA this, and people are racist. Look, the rising tide raises all boats. But black people in the hood, they don't want to pay more taxes either. They want to be safer as well. They don't want fewer law enforcement or fewer police officers. We want more police officers. This is not a race issue. And what we've seen in the last 4 years is this country go to absolute hell in the handbasket, and everybody's looking around pointing the fingers. And you know what we realize that is? This happened ever since Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, our borders took office. So you know what? Let's go back to the way it was a few years ago. And now we feel emboldened. A lot of black people feel emboldened to actually speak their mind and speak their heart, because now we have proof. We have proof that we were better off before, and we just want to get back to that. This has nothing to do with race, religion, color, or creed. This has everything to do with your quality of life. Am I better off then? Am I better off now? And black folks are realizing we're better off now. And I think President Trump is going to get between 25 and 30% of the black male vote. He set a record in 2020. He got 18.7% of the black male vote. If he gets 25, kiss the baby. This thing is over. And Democrats know that, and that's why they're acting like caged animals to get him out of there. They are hemorrhaging the black male vote. And I'm telling you, I'm seeing it every single day. And by Meek Mill of all people, coming out and being like, yeah, man, like the streets got his back. Let's go. Let's go.
We have the B-roll. It'll just play beside you of Fani Willis's hometown on the night that she arrested Donald Trump, mugshots in the studio, coming out to support Donald Trump. People getting out of their houses, out of their buildings to come out and cheer Donald Trump as he rolls through the street, right?
Yeah.
Saying, free my boy Trump. That's what they were saying. Fani done effed up. Yeah. But little did we know how right they were. The entire A block of the show was about how Fani did F up by effing around with one of her lawyers, by meeting with the Biden White House, by meeting with the January 6th committee, by paying her lover boy an enormous amount of money, even though he doesn't do these kind of cases and doesn't have any kind of pedigree as a lawyer. And he's just into big fannies. And so we're looking at this and saying, how, and now there's a judge that's scheduling like a hearing saying, hold up, something ain't right here. What do you think is going to happen in this case?
Oh, well, Joe Biden right now is polling at 31%, the lowest he's seen in modern history. The only person worse than that is Kamala Harris. She's polling worse than that. She's the worst polling vice president we have seen in the history of this country. And while Dick Cheney was vice president, he shot somebody. Think about that. You're doing worse than Dick Cheney at this point. He shot somebody, a friend of his, in the face with birdshot. Thank God it wasn't buckshot. At what point Do we realize that these are Democrats that are going after President Trump, and it's witch hunt after witch hunt after witch hunt, indictment all over the country. It's New York, it's Georgia, it's everywhere. It's Fani. They're doing this because they're trying their best to keep him off the ballot. But thank God for our Constitution, and thank God for the Supreme Court, because they're not going to let them get away with this. And I hope that he goes after Fani with full force when this is over. This is ridiculous. Taxpaying dollars were paid to enrich a man that she had an affair with because he wants to make President Trump a political prisoner. What?
Yeah.
What? This is what's happening in our country right now. And the good thing is we have shows like yours. There's people like me, there's people around the country that are exposed to this for exactly what it is. Thank God. And thank God your viewership is going to watch this and disseminate this accordingly. That's why we're going to be okay in November. We don't have to worry about the fake news, man. We don't have to worry about NBL, LSD and CNN and everybody else. The only thing we have to do is stay focused on the issues, shows like you to really put out what's going on, and we're going to be just fine. But let me tell you something, man. The people are getting ready to speak, and we're getting ready to speak loud and clear. We're sick of the corruption. We are sick of the two-tier justice system. And I also want to say this. I was on Triggered yesterday with Don Jr., and we were talking about he versus Hunter Biden. Could you imagine? Go with it. Could you imagine if Donald Trump Jr. behaved the way that Hunter Biden has behaved? Could you imagine if we found cocaine in the White House that nobody knows whose cocaine it was? Could you imagine if you're found on camera measuring crack while prostitutes are in the back that are being paid for by money that you got because of who your father was? This is ridiculous. And now we know it. And that's indicative of why President Trump set a record in Iowa. We're going to see the same thing in New Hampshire. We're going to see the same thing in Nevada. We're going to see the same thing in South Carolina. And I cannot wait to watch it. And I'm even more proud to be a part of the movement, brother.
Final question for you, Congressman, because you brought up the polling, and we have the polling actually here from Real Clear Politics. You can see now Donald Trump not only, you see Joe Biden sort of like slowly atrophy, but Donald Trump just like a rocket ship, right? He's like Tesla stock, Bitcoin, bam, bam. Yeah. And he's popping up again, and I think that you are on a trend here where Donald Trump is simply polling outside of the margin of fraud, and they're going to get desperate. Now you're starting to see little stories like this. Yeah. Don't be shocked. Here's the New York Post. Don't be shocked if Michelle Obama sneaks her way into the 2024 race. Yeah. And they go through how Michelle Obama could do the old switcheroo with Joe. Mm-hmm. Is this going to work? Your thoughts on this?
Personal thoughts, and I actually read this yesterday. Do you know that the election is 10 months away? If you were going to replace Joe Biden, you had to do this 8-10 months ago. Mm-hmm. This is what they're doing. They're riding with Biden. And I don't see them replacing him at this point because it would take a Herculean effort to get somebody spun up to a national level to run against President Trump when the election is 10 months away. I just don't see it. And they've realized that this is the party of identity politics. And the reason why they cannot replace Biden with, let's say, a Gavin Newsom or somebody else who's white, because then you have to replace the black vice president with a white guy, even though he's probably way better. Let's be honest, this is the DNI party. So then you're going to have a serious problem if you try to usurp the black woman with any other candidate. So you're stuck with Joe Biden. It's just what it is. And they've realized that they can't replace him. And this guy cannot walk up steps. He can't read off the teleprompter. This guy is more obsessed with ice cream than keeping our world safe. And we've watched it for the past year. Why haven't they replaced this guy yet? Because they can't. It's just that simple. I think Michelle Obama is living in her house in Martha's Vineyard. That's right there off the coast, by the way. It goes to show you how much they care about global warming and about the coastal flooding. They just built a house in Hawaii. They're flying around on Sir Richard Branch's plane. Do you really think they're going to live that life to go run against President Trump? I just doubt it, man.
Yep. You know what? That's actually a really great point. Like, why would they give this up? They can make Netflix shows that nobody watches, right? Like they get paid. They can do podcasts. And they live there and throw their little parties, right?
Yeah. I think it's just too late for that. If they would have replaced him 7-8 months ago or talked about this 7-8 months ago, that would have been a more interesting conversation for me. But at this point, I think this is what they're going to roll with.
Yeah, I think this is what they're going to roll with. I wouldn't be surprised if you were on stage during the 2024 election cycle with Donald Trump, Meek Mill, Lil Wayne, and
that would be a dream. For me, that'd be a dream come true. You're talking about, and by the way, I've been listening to like Lil Wayne back in the Hot Boys days, man. I mean, that would be like a dream come true. I'm talking about like the block is hot, Lil Wayne. Nothing would make me happier than to be on stage with one of the original Hot Boys, man. Come on, I would love that.
Here's to manifesting that in 2024. Cheers, Congressman, the great Wesley Hunt. Again, follow on X. Here's the profile. 200,000 Patriots can't be wrong. Give our boy some love. And Godspeed, Congressman.
Thank you, brother. Anytime. And you enjoy your weekend. Thank you for having me on, man.